am your classroom teacher, Professor Hicks, and welcome again, fam. I'm here to give a update, well, more of an update to brief you on the biography of Dr. David Imhotep. For those who were not tuning in or did not tune in before, we moved to a different subject and topic, and that topic is the first Americans were Africans. And here's the book. And I'm going to throw some books at you later today by Dr. David Imhotep. But before we go there, let's just get a little current, come up to date, little current events. Many of you are aware of our king who has federalized troops to go into our cities. I should say federalize the National Guard to go into cities and to capture citizens in home and on streets. This is a very dangerous escalation for our king. Don't know where this is going, but I have some ideas. I mean, I also saw footage in Portland of our police officers, yes, being tear gassed by these very invaders. The president is taking, or the president, I'm sorry, the king has taken leave maybe of his senses for where is this going to go? I don't know. I've heard over the social platforms that this could lead to some form of civil war. Hopefully, that is not what's going to be in the future, but you know that this country has been set deep in its racial history, so no one knows where this can go. If there is such a thing that should occur, maybe that will be it for what we call the United States of America. Again, I believe the king is trying to incite such a thing, but we hope and pray that that doesn't happen. But in that light of talking about military intervention, I just wanted to bring something else into light, and that is the shirt that you see me wearing. Yes, this shirt, the original Black Panthers, the 761st Tank Battalion. Yes, a lot of unknown history. So before we get to my other presentation today, and again the bio of Dr. Imhotep, let's talk about these people. You need to first go and see if you can buy one of these shirts. I actually forget the seller online, but these are the original Black Panthers. Yes, the original Black Panthers. I truly believe, and I don't know as far as evidence, because remember, I'm a scientist first, and everything is got to be supported by evidence. So I believe the evidence might show that these guys, the first Black Panthers, their name was used by the radical group Black Panthers. But again, I'm not sure of that, but I'm making a logical suggestion or logical conclusion. So anyway, the original Black Panthers, yes. Yes, this is a group that was a part of the armed forces that you never hear about. And I'm going to give you some quick facts about them. The 1st Tank Battalion, the 761st Tank Battalion, also known as the Black Panthers, was one of the most distinguished African American combat units in World War II. Yeah, if you've watched all the wonderful war movies, and I love them, I watch because along with my ancestors, I honor soldiers. Yes, veterans. I have a deep spot in my heart for all veterans, regardless of race. Okay, even though there's no such thing as race, but regardless of color. All right, so the Black Panther was one of the most distinguished African American combat units in World War II. Their courage, discipline, and combat record shattered racist myth about black soldiers' abilities and helped pave the way for their eventual desegregation, the desegregation of the U.S. military. Yes, these men, based on their actions in World War II, helped push, I believe, Truman to desegregate the Army, which I believe was Order 9908, was the official government or order that to desegregate the Army. All right, so their formation, they were activated in April of 1942, and they were located at Camp Claiborne, Louisiana. Couldn't get more racist in that area. The name Black Panthers motto, and their motto was "Come out fighting," and they really did. The battalion's patch featured a Black Panther symbolizing power, stealth, and readiness to strike. At that time, the U.S. Army was still segregated, and most black soldiers were confined to service support roles, meaning they built bridges, they cooked, all the support roles you would find in an army. The 7061st was one of the few all black armored unit allowed to fight direct combat. By armored unit, they talking about tanks and cannons and long range military equipment will be considered armored. But in this particular time, we're specifically talking about tanks. Yes, black men running tanks. Leadership and training. They were commanded by an officer, Lieutenant Colonel Paul L. Bates, a white officer who believed in his men's ability to not only tolerate racism but to lead in the field. He believed in these brothers, this white officer, and he's defended them. If you see, you read the book as I have, he defended them to the end. Okay, based on just want to use layman's terms. The unit underwent rigorous training and often faced racism, as you can imagine, from white officers and townspeople in the South. Despite these obstacles, they became one of the most disciplined and best trained tank units in the Army. Combat in Europe. Here's their combat activity in Europe. They were attached to General George S. Patton's Third Army. Now, Patton initially doubted these soldiers, but later Patton said, quote, "I don't care what color you are, as long as you can kill Germans." That's what I loved about Patton. The key battles. They fought in the Battle of the Bulge. How did you not hear about these guys? They were in the Battle of Bulge. All right. If you've seen any of the great war movies, you know the Battle of the Bulge was critical to United States allies and the United States winning the war. They fought in freezing conditions, playing a critical role in stopping the German advance. They took part in the liberation of France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and Austria. They were among the first Allied tank units to reach Nazi-occupied territories. Now, I can tell you about a couple of their feats, but I'm going to beg you to buy the book and do the research, all right? All right, let me go on. The liberation of concentration camps. This element, the element of the 7061st, helped free prisoners in Gonskirchen, a subcamp of Mauthausen, which was in Germany, one of the camps, the Jewish extermination camps. Over 183 consecutive days of combat. 183 days of consecutive combat. They didn't get a break. They fought bravely through some of the toughest engagements on the Western Front. They got the award of Presidential Citation, the Medals of Honor, Purple Heart, and Silver Stars. And there's a wonderful story, I'm not going to give it to you, about Sergeant Reuben Rivers and his spectacular and legendary fight, I should say, in one of these events in this World War II. So look them up, and that's all I'm going to give you right now on those guys. But I wanted to at least hopefully I have my book. Here's one of their books, Brothers in Arms by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. All right, I believe he might have been just the forward, but Brothers in Arms. There's another book called the 761st Battalion that also has some wonderful information on these brothers. Look them up. Look them up. Very important. These issues and these historical people in Black history. All right, and that's why it's important to study your history, to make it and take away the mystery, as Professor James Small says all the time. All right, so what else do I have for you? We talked about our king and how crazy he's going. Let's briefly talk. There's another group of heroes that you probably never heard of. And these guys you can look up as well. You can find stuff on them at ChatGPT. And they were called the Deacons of Defense and Justice. Yes, you never heard of these guys. See, everybody listen to Martin Luther King. He's a civil rights advocate and a man for peace. But whoa, he had some protection as well. So the Deacons of Defense. Check these guys out. They were shortened. It was called the Deacons of Defense and Justice, but it was soon shortened to the Deacons of Defense. And they were one of the most important yet overlooked self-defense organizations during the Civil Rights Movement. Yes, the Civil Rights Movement had some brothers who were also very tough and bad. All right, went up against the Klan and everybody. They represented a militant, disciplined, and community-based approach to protecting black citizens and activists from racial violence, especially in the Deep South during the 1960s. Their origins were in Jonesboro, Louisiana. They were founded by a guy named Ernest Chilly Willie Thomas and Freddie Green, both veterans of the Korean War. They organized response to the brutal KKK violence and failure of the local law enforcement to protect black citizens and civil rights workers. Their defense, the Deacons' mission was self-defense, not aggression. You see, this is what's going to happen in these black cities that are being attacked by these crazy forces, and these forces federalized by the government. These National Guardsmen who's normally home cooking or doing some crap but decide to get in a uniform, get extra pay, they're going to force people in the black community to organize and become defense-minded as well. I predict that's going to happen because what they're doing in these cities is not going to continue unabated, okay? They believe in nonviolence for those who practice it. Yes, we're not a violent people, but don't provoke you. Don't provoke us. So they were nonviolent for those who practice it, but self-defense for those under attack. They were not opposed to Martin Luther King's nonviolent philosophy, but they argued that nonviolence should never mean defenselessness. Defenselessness. Okay, so I'm going to leave it right there for you. All right, you do the research. You guys got to work for this stuff. It's good stuff. The Deacons of Defense, look them up. Powerful organization. They were the precursor to many of the black liberation organizations and movements during the 60s. Okay? All right. Now with that said, let's go to the final part of today's presentation or broadcast, and is that we're going to be talking about the first Americans. The first Americans. No, we're not talking about the Mongoloid Indians. No, we're not talking about those people who call themselves Asian. But we're talking about African people who were first here. Now, pushed back. Dr. David Imhotep will be proud to know that they pushed it back to 1 million years in the Americas. And no, we did not emerge here. Africa is our race, who we are as African. Our heritage is American. And this is the book we're going to be using. The first Americans were Africans. So this guy, I promise to give you guys a little bio on him because it's important to, whenever you're going to pick up a book, you research the author to make sure of his authenticity, his validity, his scholarship, and all of the little elements that are going to make you read a book and be interested in it. All right, you want to know who you're talking from. Okay, talking from. If you're doing like I'm going to do and be reading a lot of this to you. All right, so let me just give you a quick picture of him. That's him right there, if you can see. Here in his scholarship role. All right, and over there, he's underwater in the Bimini, Bahamas. He's investigating pyramids under the water. Yes, he wasn't just this guy. Well, let me read and tell you about him, okay? All right. Dr. David Imhotep became interested in military history with a special interest in the black foundation of the civilizations of the world while completing his undergraduate studies at the University of Maryland. He was convinced that only by re-evaluating and restoring Africa's place in the history of the world could physical and mental shackles and the vice grip of colonialism be lifted from Africa and the United States. Today, David Imhotep is an author, lecturer, researcher, anthrophotojournalist. This is why you see him underwater or submerged in water in the Bimini, Bahamas. And the first person, ready for this, the first person in the United States to hold a PhD specialization in ancient African history. Yes, many of us scholars who took up African history, it became it was like a conscious awakening for us, and we diverted from our original plans to be scholars in another area to direct ourselves to African history. Kind of what happened to me, though I was taking history from college and very much interested in there. There were certain things that diverted me from continuing to pursue in that particular area. But thank for God, I was able to land jobs in history and continue to teach for the last 20 years, and as a professor and a teacher, and to study it. So I was able. But this man started out as a history person, and he's the only one who has a specialization in ancient African history in the country. His doctoral dissertation, called The Origins of Civilization, the Case of Egypt and Mesopotamia from Several Disciplines. This was accepted, meaning his dissertation, in 2007 and will be updated and published in 2021. Now, of course, this is older, so you can go back and find it if you need it. He has appeared in numerous television, radio, magazine, and newspaper interviews. His slide lecture presentations containing cutting-edge data and has been described as both informative and entertaining. He has traveled the world for the last 40 years, searching for information relating to the cultural heritage of Africa and the African diaspora. He has lectured widely throughout the United States, Africa, the Caribbean, South America, Central America, and Europe, and has also been cited and quoted voluminously. For lectures and interviews, write to davidimhotep@gmail.com. Now, that's some of it. Let me give you some of the more interesting aspects of him. Dr. David Imhotep, in the later years of Muhammad Ali's life and career, many professionals were interviewed to become Mr. Ali's nutritionist. Now, we're talking about the greatest, Muhammad Ali. Dr. Imhotep, PhD, had just finished an advanced degree in nutrition and was also a former athlete, a football starter at the College Park University of Maryland, an NCAA Division I program. After interviewing several candidates, Dr. Imhotep was chosen because he was found to be the best person qualified for the position. Now, if I kind of mix that up, what we're saying here, that Dr. David Imhotep, the same very person that wrote this book, was Muhammad Ali's nutritionalist during his fighting days. In a sneak peek at this Ali and Me book is a collection of photos and wonderful experience the author had while being employed by Mr. Ali. A long list of colorful experiences, very colorful experiences if you knew this man, fills the story of being a part of Mr. Ali's entourage, working and traveling with the greatest for his last 6 fights. Many herbs as well as fruit and vegetable juice recipes are included that Dr. Imhotep squeezed for Muhammad with his Norwalk hydraulic press juice extractor. Yes, one of the first juice extractors ever built by this man, Dr. David Imhotep. He used it to help Muhammad Ali in his last 6 fights become and remain the champion. And you know, if he was trusted by the greatest, he had to be great himself. And this juice and this hydraulic juicer gave the champ, Muhammad Ali, more energy and stamina and weight loss. David also sparred with Muhammad and with other members of the Muhammad Ali boxing team. With the experience with one of the greatest human beings I ever met, he said. He said, what an experience. I'm sorry. With one of the greatest human beings I ever met. This book is about Ali's entourage, the Terrible 10, he called us. All right, so there's another book you want to take a look and check it out. Let me show you quickly. Here's his picture with Muhammad Ali. He's boxing in the very large picture, or I guess that would be your right. And then the other picture, see him boxing with Muhammad and some of his entourage. And there you see him at the bottom playing football for Maryland University. Starter, NCAA. All right, so this was no just fly-by guy who went to school, intellectual, can't talk. He was a great man. He is now an ancestor. He left us about a year or two ago. All right. So this is the book we're going to be going for. This is the book we're going to be using primarily. All right. And we're going to be going slow. I'm not looking for views in this. I'm looking for people who want to know about history, the real history. Here's another book you can add to your list with this subject I'm going to be using. The Mande in Ancient America. The Mande. Yes, by Dr. Clyde Winter. Another great intellectual. I'm not going to even start with him, all right? Here's another book you're going to be using. Early America Revisited by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. Great. You see those braids there? Those are from the Olmec heads. Braids like that can only be found in one other place besides America, Africa. This is the first book of Dr. David Imhotep. That image you see in front, that is someone they found at the southern tip of South America when slaves should not have been there. And this was not a slave. This was someone from the Anu, the Twa, derogatorily known as pygmies. This man was found on the tip of South America with other tribal members in 1825. All right? And not a result of slave ships, not a result of slave trading, but they're founded by Europeans mistakenly. So they used the last film that they were used. They were going to the Galapagos Islands to photograph different species that Europeans had just become aware of. But they had gotten shipwrecked or lost water, and as a result, they had to stop at one of the local islands in South America, and this is what they found. And when they got there, they went nuts. These Europeans couldn't believe that these people did not speak African languages. They spoke their own. Here's another great book by Dr. Clyde Winter, all right? The History and Culture of African People, the True Native Aborigines of America and the Caribbean as well. Here's another book by Dr. Clyde Winter that you can read. We Are Not Just Africans, the Black Native Americans. Yes, we are the Native Americans. We are the Native Americans who you've seen in cowboy and Indian movies are simply Mongolians mixed with Africans that were here. And we're going to go into that. And here's another book that you should look up. This is a very thin, you can get through this quickly, but it tells you about who were the mound builders. So whenever you see mounds anywhere, and then you see pyramids anywhere, this is the precursor, the forerunner to pyramids. And these are found in Africa first. Thousands of mounds in Africa. But as we're starting to discover here in America, there are thousands of them here as well. The Mississippi River, Wisconsin, Idaho, Illinois. Yes, the first Africans. And finally, this is a great book, The Unexpected Faces in Ancient America. These are some of the materials we're going to be using to continue with our discussion about Africans being the first Americans. All right? This is by Dr. Alexander von Watanu. Okay? And he has a museum in Mexico that is still displaying these items. So those who go on a vacation, just to have a good time, educate yourself while you're there. Check this guy out. And for now, we're going to hold it right there. I'm going to thank you for your attention. I'll be getting back to you with our next class on the early Americans who were Africans. And probably tomorrow, it's a lot of research and study required for me to do this. I haven't taught this subject in quite some time, but I have, as I told you, I have notes on everything. So we're going to dive more into this. You got the bio, who Dr. David Imhotep is. Please go purchase his book. Amazon. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Subscribe. I need you guys there. All right. So without further ado,